Hello, welcome back to European Autocraft Studios 944 Turbo project. We're still on that. Today's harvest day. We're going to be harvesting some connector terminals from an old harness and the harness that we separated last time. I threw this in the ultrasonic cleaner just to make it so it wasn't so dirty, but we carelessly, I lost one of these connectors. It was still in the housing, so it didn't have a wire attached to it. It just sort of ran away. It may have run away. It's okay if it's happy where it is. So we took these, the three that I had, and I went and got another one from another harness that we're going to be replacing. We have a new harness, not a new one, but a good used harness. So I stole one from the old harness, and I'm going to show you how to take them off the wire and still be able to reuse it. If you look a little closer here, this is the outcome. This is what they'll look like. It looks like they'll clean up okay. Sometimes you can dip them in muriatic acid to get rid of the corrosion, but I think I can wire brush those out. I was going to try, this is a 2.5 millimeter or 3/16 terminal you find on speaker connections, things like that. I thought I could get that to fit up inside the housing, but that's not going to work. So we don't need that. We won't need this anymore. I was going to use it for wire length, but because of the videos, we were able to see exactly where everything is routed, so I really don't need that anymore. So we can just toss that. So I'm going to be using the silicone wire. I'm going to run it down the same way, but I'm going to leave it long on the end because I want to make sure that we get this fit right when it's in the car. And I can change over those. I'll add the connectors to them and finish the harness that little bit in the car. No problem with that. I have two different colors. We have three terminals on one connector, one on the other. I'll split them up according to color. And then when it comes time to do the final connection at the resistor block, which I found, we can do that right there in the car. I can ohm it out and I'll know by the wiring diagram which wire goes where. It's pretty simple stuff. But on closer look at this, I realize these thermal switches that when the heat sink gets too hot, it'll turn off the fan. And I didn't see that there's one missing, and I didn't find it on the end of the wire anywhere. So that must have happened a long time ago. This also will clean up nice, and I'll make sure the resistors are good. I don't see any problem with them. The insulation isn't cracked or anything like that. Not like the 993s and the 964s. They have a fan resistor for each fan, one for the AC condenser and one for the oil cooler. They have a similar design, but they have more problems than these do. So I'll try to source these thermal limiters here, and it's unlikely they'll ever come into use. I guess if you stop the fan, the current will go up and it could overheat the resistor, which will be turned off by the thermal switch here. So I'll get one for this side, and maybe I'll replace them both. I'll find them somewhere in electronic supply or something like that. Anyways, that's the least of my worries. So right now I want to show you how I do it anyways, to get get that terminal off the wire and be able to reuse it. So let's see how this works. You can do it with just about anything. I tried to buy these. I bought a whole bunch of terminals, and $187 for 40 terminals, 10 of each type of 4. This one is not available. I kept my order in. It's on back order through Porsche, and they'll call me if they ever come in. I don't know if they will. But let's see. The first thing we want to do, you get the two parts, the part that grips the insulation and the part that crimps on the wire itself. So I want to open up this one. Try not to poke yourself in the finger. I did the other one so this wouldn't take so long on camera here. So we just want to open them not too far because we don't want to break them off. If you remember what I did with the molding on the door, when I said you got to be careful of it, and click, it broke off. That was embarrassing. But, okay, so let's get these out of the way. So that's open. So now I have access to all this wire here. And what I want to do is, I took the screwdriver, I just ground it so it's a little bit more of a chisel point. These screwdrivers are somewhat useless anyways because they turn inside. So I made that so it's a little bit sharper, a little thinner, and I can go down inside. And I'm just going to spread it a little bit. It does take some force, but so now if I can make some room in there and pull some of these wires out at a time, I might have to go a little bit more. A little bit more. Yeah, there we go. If you pull too hard, they'll break off and then you'll never get them out. There's always a loose one you can pull out and make some room. Still stubborn. Things always go a little more smoothly off camera. Yeah, it's started my life, but it's okay. I don't want to bend it too much because then it can break off. There we go. Okay, once the connector is empty, we can go in and try to open it up from the inside with something round. The other ones were easier. This one's a little stubborn, but just be careful so we can reuse it. Okay. There we go. Alright, now I'm going to clean this with a wire brush and a little bit of brake clean. And I have to go get that, so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I don't want to mess up my... So we'll do this. These were green, if you remember when I took them out. And the ultrasonic helped, but I just ran these on the wire wheel a little bit ago. These are solid copper underneath. They're nice connectors, so they should solder nice. I'm going to pinch them, but because the metal is already weak now from being pinched once, we're going to add a little bit of solder to make sure that they have a good connection without putting too much strain on the tabs. So that should be okay. Stay. You're staying so nicely before. All right. So what wire should we use for which connector is it? We have 3 wires in the O connector, 33, 23, and 21. 1 wire in the 22 connector. So I think we'll use 3 grays and we'll use the one purple wire. This shows a 2.5 millimeter wire. They're going by cross section, not diameter of the wire. That translates to 14 gauge wire. So that's what I have here. So we'll do the purple one first. That's going to be F22. Connector F pin 22. Where's my F1? This one. Yes. That's O. F is... I lost my F. Is it even up here? I know it's brown. Brown? This one? Ah, there it is. F22. So as we learned already, that this will be, this is F1, 2, 3, 4. So this will be F1, 2, what did I say the number was? F1, 22. So that'll be column 2, row 2, column 2, whatever, and pin 2. So 2 over, 2 down. That's where I'm going to put this connector and run that wire just like we did down through the center, around here, through this T-junction here, and down to this tape joint here, which ended our split for this harness. So first I'm going to do is let's get this crimped in there. That should lock right in. Oh, the wire's a little bit long. Let's get this. Make sure these are ready to go. I'm going to use the open barrel crimp tool. See if I can get a good crimp on it with that first, and then we'll just make sure it's compact enough, and then we'll solder it. But maybe we can hold it with this. This is the open barrel tool. If I can get it in there correctly. Let's see. These are distorted from opening them up. With a little bit of patience, we'll get it. Okay. Attempt here. I don't think it's enough for the wire to go in, the insulation. Now remember, I wanted to get a lot of stranded wire. There's a lot of strands here. I forget the strand count. I don't know if it's on there. No. But it's the higher strand count wire. And it is copper. It's tin-plated copper. It's not aluminum. So this is a good wire. So it's a little tedious, but worth it in the end. That to stay. Let's see what kind of connection we can get here. It's about 1.5 million degrees outside, which I like, but for working we need air conditioning, and this air conditioning is weak at best. So I'm putting in a 4-ton system to replace a 2-ton that didn't work anymore. So we'll have a total of 6 tons for this shop, or 6.5. But Amazon sent me a dry erase board instead of my AC lines, so that's not going to keep us cool. Don't get me wrong, a dry erase board is pretty cool, but not like that. Alright, not a bad job. Look at that. So it looks like a factory pinch again. I still think it's going to be a little bit weaker than a normal, than a new connector. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of solder on this. And let's see how it takes to that. I like to use this flux. It works really good on this stuff. I put some on the solder so it actually gets into the crevices here of my connector. That'll clean that up nice. Just a little. We don't want to go overkill with it. There we go. You think I would have a soldering iron holder? Live dangerously. So that's our first connector. Actually looks pretty good. Nice and compact. On there nice and solid. So that'll be our first one. I think I'm going to have to open this up. Well, I can run it over it, and when I finish this harness, I'm going to wrap these with a different harness tape. I'll use the nice soft tape now that they have, you see in all the newer cars. I think I'll use that to do the entire harness after we do it. But for these, I'm going to lay them in so we have them in place, and we'll go from there. So we do want to run this one probably like here, comes up this way. And like I said, I'll cut it long so we have a lot to work with in the end. So it'll look nice. And we, believe it or not, we're going to come back and clean a lot of these wires, and this will be in there, but ready to go back together. Let's see, I think this one's going to be in the way. Yeah, I want this one under here. There we go. You just follow the wire around. We don't have to get, we don't want a straight run. We have to follow, so when we tape it up, we don't end up with little things like this. This is how they keep the wire length the same. See this one here, the wire was probably too long at the end by the time they finished it, so they just wrapped the leftover wire around the harness. This is kind of big and bulky to do that with, so we want to make sure we get that right on. And these, see the plastic bits? These things are crumbling. So we're going to look into another harness to get some good bits out of in the future, but we'll have it all together for that point. We'll know where everything goes. So what did I say? 1, 2, right? 2, second column, second one over. This is going to go right in here. I'm going to be real fancy-like and put it in like this. Right there. Now this comes apart. Remember, I didn't take it apart before. I thought it would work before. It didn't. I thought I had to put a tool in there, but I didn't. So that's that. That's going to go around here, here. Okay, and that's the only one for the F. The other 3 are in O. You see that right here. That's this one we just did. It's red and white, but now it's purple, and that's okay. Let me get some different kind of tape. Since this connector housing no longer wants to stay together, we're just going to help it stay together until we can get the solution for this. And we will get a solution. All right. So it's a good spot for that. This tape is nice and thin. You can leave it in when you wrap the harness with it. I won't have to take all this off again. Make sure I have enough room. Yeah, that's good. And just a little bit of patience, you can get this to look nice. Got to be able to see, though. That's the important part. Want these as compact as you can get them. Right down I really don't want this on top. And I have my full wire, so I think what I'll do is I'm going to lay this out and I'm going to cut it long. Then I'm going to come back and feed it through a little bit nicer. If not, it'll look like an amateur did it. We're not amateurs that much, as far as you know. So we'll be close. Let's see. I know we want to come out here. To here. I'm going to go long, I think. Yeah, that looks long. A little safety there. Okay. Now, let's see if I can do this a little bit. Probably not. Make sure I don't cut one of the wires that I'm trying to save here. I have more wires coming down here, so I'm just going to put this on loose. So it doesn't run away from me. Okay. Can I sneak it through this one? Probably not. It's okay. That's okay. Go under. Not so much. Just go this way. If you can hear what I'm saying, I'm just mumbling like I normally do. Sometimes you hear it, sometimes you don't. Here, I'll take a turn over here. See, it's still on the outside. I just don't like that, but I'll be here all day. I'll try. I like the smaller wires on the outside. Don't ask me why. Just a wiring thing. I know you guys asked me, why do I keep working on this car when we know we may not be able to actually finish the car if this owner of this car doesn't come up with some money? Well, we have a lot of stuff apart, and I want to show you how to do all this stuff. I think that's long enough. I think it's much longer than we need. Okay. Now we're going to do 3 with the gray. Grab one of our freshly harvested connectors. Since this is a German car, we could call this an international harvest. Okay? International harvest. Yeah, I'm harvesting. Okay, anyways. Just trying to keep it light. So, I'm just going to close it up enough so it stays in there. So some of you guys like my boring videos. Some don't tune in, which we can see in the stats. I know you're all waiting for the transmission. Oh, no, that's not good. The transmission video is coming. Not just yet, but it's coming. I have to clear a table first so we can really see it. Yeah, that's a little straighter. I want to make sure we get the insulation up there. And we don't want the wire too far forward. The silicone wire is really nice to work with. It's a little squirrely, but it's good. Put a little on the soldering iron so it conducts the heat a little better. Okay, there's number 2. Looks like brand new. Make sure my little tab is out. So where are we going with this one? We'll go D21. O21, I'm sorry, that's an O, not a D. O21. That was, that's I. Oh, okay, it's already a part 2, which is good. Now, when I took these apart before, I didn't pay attention to which one is 1, 2, 3, and 4. The 1 and 4 are pretty obvious, but the 2 and 3 can be switched, and you'll never know. I went back and we tracked the wire color to verify that we had them in the right order. So be careful of that if you want to delve into something like this. It's kind of fun. You're going to rebuild a car over the winter if you have a winter. What number did I say? 021. 021. So this is O. This is row 2, pin 1. Column, I imagine. These column 2, row 1, or pin 1, or I don't know. Just 221s where it goes, right there. So we're gonna stick that one in there. All right, separate these so it goes right in. This one. Well, I could have planned that a little better. Let's see. Planning is everything with wiring, as you see. I'm not so organized. Okay, down around. I'm going to come through the center with this purple one. So try getting through somewhere around there. Nope. Lower. Let me get another tool to work with here. All right. I'm going to make a path for this wire. This way I know the Phillips screwdriver won't hurt the wiring harness. Okay. But again, I'm going to have to cut this one first to feed it through. Probably should have done that first. Maybe on the next one, I will run it this way instead. We learn as we go here at European Autocraft Studios. Every day is a learning adventure. Especially when I forget so much stuff. It's like I'm in kindergarten every day. And because we have some unknowns in here, we're just going to go a little bit longer. That should take care of it. This, I don't know where that goes yet. That's something we'll sort out. You'll see when we get a little deeper into this. Over here, I think that's good. Same thing, I left this one loose. Maybe I can tuck this underneath. I can. Beautiful, it's like sewing. Down around with the same path. There's another one of those. The wire was too long, so they made a loop in the harness for it. And that just tucks in nicely. You don't even see it. Very nice. So if you see what we're doing here, we're only working on one section of the harness. It's easy to get overwhelmed when you see so much stuff around you that it's not even related to the work you're doing. So ignore it. It's just one section. We're going from a couple of connectors just to the resistor block. Nothing to worry about. Just nice and neat. One little section we're working on. Now we're going to restore the entire harness, and you'll be able to see what we're going to do there. We have to fix some things first, like this. A couple of other little things that need attention. Then we can wrap it, clean the connectors, wrap it. And we'll have a nice fresh harness to go in the car. If that day ever comes. Nothing else. We're doing a lot of unit repair. We're going to rebuild the steering rack, all kinds of good stuff. So keep that in mind. Plus, we may have another 944 turbo coming to rebuild or reassemble. And that's going to be a good job. That's thanks to Jeff. Guy sent us a bunch of parts for this project, which if we don't get to use, well, I hope we get to use. Maybe we can put them to good use on somebody else's car, but we'll see how that goes. All right, there's our second wire. So now we're going to go backwards this way. That way I don't have to cut it and measure it, things like that. So we're going to go up to where? 023. Of course, I'll forget that. When we get there, I'll look it up again. That's okay. I forget it. This makes more sense going backwards here. Keep the radius the same. Don't pull it too tight, because when we wrap it, we don't want any lumps. It'd be nice if I had a bigger table. We've used a bigger table before. It's kind of wobbly. That way we can spread this out a little better. But we're okay. All right, so we'll strip this wire. Looks like I'm getting ready to lose a couple of these connectors here if I don't be more careful. Solder doesn't stick too well to greasy surfaces. Well, beautiful. I'll take that all day. Let that flux get right inside there with the wire. This is rosin core solder, so it has flux built in. But we're dealing with old metal, old connectors. Had enough to melt the flux, but not the solder. With a little more conductivity here. There we go. Not bad. Not too bad. Now, as predicted, I forgot the number. This is 023. So let's count these out. We got row 1, 2, and then 3. This is 5, so 3 will be, this is 1, 2, and then there's 3 right inside there. So we're going to come down. Okay, there's 2. I don't like you. We're going to fix that too. I don't even know where that goes yet. We'll figure that out. It'll be here, around there. Nice and neat. That'll tuck in real good. No tugs, nothing sticking out. Now we have one more gray. Oh, I didn't even cut that. Close enough. And this will be its own harness. I'll tape up, and you'll only see the connectors come out of the end. So they'll be nice and neat. So let's go with the last one. Alright, so I'm not going to need all that, so we'll get this connector in, then I'll tug it all back like I did, and then we're going to secure it with some little bits of tape. Okay, that's another nice solder joint, so that's good. So let's get this in. Notice I didn't try to get the number first because I knew I'd forget anyways. Now we are at the first one in the row here, which is 033. So this is 1, 2, 3. This is the 1, 2, 3, and then a third pin. Now these aren't numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, but it starts with the letter, with the color-coded end with the letter on it, and then you go. That'll be 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. But these are numbered, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going in this direction, so we can easily see that. So let's figure out what's going to be the best. And then these little pieces here, little plastic extrusions, lock this in place like that. Again, we got to figure out what we're going to do about locking these together again. They do come apart easy, but now that the little tabs are breaking off, it's coming apart even easier. We don't want that. And we're not going to wrap this piece until we fix this, so we're just going to temporarily tape these up again. Not going to wrap it too tight because we're going to take this off when we actually do the final repair in this little section. Okay. So there. I want to keep the bend because this is the shape that was left over. So when this goes back in the car, it should be somewhat pre-shaped to the way it goes, so it'll be much easier to install. So we want to try to maintain that. Get some kind of memory of how it was in there. So. Not precision, but it's just a wiring harness. Nothing to be afraid of. Well, melting it down, that's something to be afraid of. I've done that before. Looks like we got a new pope. All the white smoke coming out of there. We're getting close to the end, so just a little bit longer. Don't go yet. Now the beauty of this type of repair is when it's done, you'll never know it was done, except you'll see the silicone wire at the end where it goes into the resistors. And no Mickey Mouse. This has got to be a little bit of work, but it's worth it. Everything is as designed. No wires hanging outside of the harness and wrong connectors and things like that. This is how it should be. And you can do a better job than I'm doing. I hope this is show you how to do these things. Hope it works out and you don't get frustrated like I do. Okay, that's where we're at. Cut the last piece of wire. Okay, so I don't know how long we're going to be. From what I remember, what we looked at, we looked back at the videos, I think we're going to be very long here, which would be good. This little pigtail I can finish up inside the car and get my connectors on there. So that's ready to go right there. Alright, that wraps this up. Literally wrapped, get it? Not completely wrapped, but it's wrapped up. I know I'm going to get some comments on the wire color. Why didn't I use 4 different color wires? And to me, I'm just going to own the wire, and I can put a tag on it, or I can just plug it all in and forget about it. I should have gotten 4 different colors. I was just thinking connector to connector, it doesn't matter, they're all similar colors, but it does make a difference. It would have helped to use different colors. So if you are going to do this, even if it's not the same color, a different color for each circuit would be probably better. But I just did it this way. It's really not like me. I should have been more cautious with that, but it'll work just fine. But yeah, it'd be a good idea to use different colors. So you don't have to yell at me in the comments for that, but I can take it. So like, subscribe, share it. Other people that you know that are doing automotive electrical that may not own a Porsche but might like to see this, send them my way, and just see how to try to make it neat. That's all you have to do. And don't worry about the rest of it until you get to it. And we'll see you next week. Thanks.